Broads Media.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads. I did not expect to be talking about a 3-1 hockey team after 4 games, but I guess that's what happens when you have a true number one center who could shut down superstars. I guess that's what happens when there's a healthy Cam Atkinson who knows how to light the lamp. He scores 2 bingos on Thursday night. This team has a different element that they didn't have in last year's squad. Now, it's very early, and this team did start out 3-1 last year, and you can make the argument because of the way John Tortorella runs his training camp that they are well conditioned and they are in a better spot than most teams. And look, I don't want to take anything away from the Philadelphia Flyers and what they put on display, but the Edmonton Oilers have been playing horrendous hockey to start the season off. There's a lot of questions up there right now. There's a lot of angry screaming because they're trying to figure out how a team who is so favored in the West, who have a shot to win the Stanley Cup in their minds, look so flat. But you have to take advantage of that if you're the Flyers. And also, you played well, right? I mean, it is possible where one team flat out stinks and they can't figure out their identity and they can't get scoring from their bottom 6 and their goalie maybe didn't play super sharp. At the same time, though, you caused turnovers. Travis Sanheim in the neutral zone is part of the reason why Bobby Brink and Joel Farabee are able to spring up ice and score that awesome goal to start off 1-0. That was an incredible play by Bobby Brink. That was an awesome finish by Joel Farabee. And Bobby Brink is everywhere. He's significantly outplaying a lot of guys, but more importantly, Tyson Forster and obviously Morgan Frost, who's in the John Tortorella doghouse. He almost scored the wraparound goal. I think he's buzzing everywhere, and I don't know if it's just a one-hit wonder kind of guy, meaning it'll last only a short amount of time and then eventually the spark ends. No, it looks like he's everywhere and he's capable of utilizing that speed. He's got a skill set that I think translates to this league. He's super fast, he's super quick, he's super skilled. I don't think it dies off. I have a lot of faith that this Bobby Brink experience only expands. And once he pops one, he's got that Owen Tippett thing similar to what happened last year where Owen Tippett couldn't find the net. I think Bobby Brink is everywhere. He's right there. It is so damn close. Once one goes through, I think it eventually just kind of bang takes off for him. But hey, speaking of Owen Tippett, awesome passing to win a battle along the wall and find Cam Atkinson in front of the crease. This team scored some beautiful ones, and there was a big momentum change that happened when Sean Couturier finds Walker, who makes it 3-1 with a rip. Probably should have been saved, but that stuff happens all the time. All right, you get a little rush there in a very weird spot. You normally wouldn't see Walker getting a chance like that when Edmonton has a power play, but the score is 2-1 at the time. Think about the firepower on Edmonton. Think about where they normally generate a lot of their scoring, when they have a man advantage. So when it's 2-1, you're thinking, please don't make it 2-2. Please don't tie it up. Please don't take life out of this building. And instead, it's 3-1, and you expand the lead. That is magnificent from someone who isn't normally scoring that goal. Walker, come on, man. D-man taking it up ice like that. It's amazing. But good for Sean Couturier. It shows you the knowledge of the player because it's easy to dump the puck and then you reset your penalty kill, short shifts. Maybe you go to the bench, you get some fresh legs out there, whatever it is. You want to always churn the bodies when you're down a man, and instead he puts it in an area for you to just at least get something, at least do a little bit of something with the puck after that. Most penalty killers probably just send it down the ice. And that shows you the difference in having a Sean Couturier compared to not. And the fact that Sean Couturier looks this smooth coming off of the injuries that he has been a part of, he hasn't skipped a damn beat. Like, he looks exactly like the same Sean Couturier who could play a lot of minutes, who can shut down opposing teams' best lines. That is something that is so important if you're going to have any sort of chance to compete every single night. And if there is a part of this fan base that seems to be aggravated because they're not losing, first off, let's be honest. As happy as I am right now, Don't we know a double-digit losing streak is going to happen at some point? Isn't that what this team is all about? Isn't there a 10, 11, 12-game losing skid that's on the schedule at some point in the middle of the season? But what you do need to value is, and I said this in the offseason before puck drop for their first game, there's nothing wrong with having Couturier and having Atkinson back, even in a season where you're rebuilding. There's a difference between rebuilding and full-on tanking. I think that there's an awesome mental switch that happens knowing that Couturier's in that room. You need to know how to attack the night every night. You need to know what it takes. There's a lot of learning that happens when you're on the bench to see how Sean Couturier plays. He's one of those guys that, quote, plays the right way. You don't think Noah Cates can learn from that? Speaking of centers, by the way, what an awesome day in the faceoff circle. Dude, you're at such an advantage when you put the puck on your stick to start off a sequence. If you're in your D zone, think about how winning a faceoff in your D zone, how valuable that is to your team, getting the puck out, whether you rim it and then you get one of your forwards to go over to the other side of the wall to chip it out of the zone, whether you utilize the glass and go glassing out, maybe you hit your center swinging, maybe you have a good setup play right off the dot. I mean, there's so many things. You win those faceoffs. Come on, it's incredible. So, yeah, Sean Couturier teaching them how to do it. You got to learn from somewhere, and you can only do so much by trial and error. And it's like, oh, you failed here, you failed there, you failed this, you failed that, you did wrong here, you did wrong here. Let's look at the tape. No, sometimes it's firsthand experience, and then it's also at practice. So Sean Couturier, after practice, hey, you're going to win 50 draws before we get off the ice. You're going to win X amount of draws against me. Someone's going to drop the puck, and I'm going to teach you how to utilize your body, turn your body, where to place your hands on the stick. To think that it would ever be a disaster to have those guys in this locker room and on the bench and on the ice for 60 minutes to battle up against Connor McDavid because, I just want to lose hockey games. I think that's absolute asinine because you're devaluing what it's like to grab onto that firsthand experience. Sanheim's been awesome. I hated the Zamula thing. The fact that he's out of the lineup, but now that Mark Stahl got injured, you also have to keep in mind Rasmus Ristolainen, and his injury is starting to become more of a talking point. I just think Zamula deserves it more than Andre. I saw a few things from Andre I didn't necessarily love. There was the D-zone play where it goes into the corner and he tries to thread the needle in front of the net, which was a disaster turnover, and luckily Carter Hart was there to make the save. I don't know if I already mentioned that or not. Maybe I did, and I'm just talking in circles, and I've already brought up that point. The Flyers' power play makes me nauseous at times. I would like for that to improve. I think it's got nowhere up to go but up, right? I mean, there's no way it can get worse, right? Can we get something? Can we score somewhere? Can we? Please? Please? I beg of you. Please. Please. All right. Let's talk about my bookie, all right? When your money's on the line, choose a trusted sports book that gives you tools to win, like my bookie. At MyBookie, it doesn't matter if your team is up or down. You can easily cash out or bet the game live to come out on the winning side. You can use MyBookie for daily odds boosts, same-game parlays, and you can take advantage of huge prize pool contests. Plus, MyBookie has a no-strings-attached cash bonus that lets you deposit and withdraw quick. Just use promo code BRODES on your first deposit, and you receive up to $200 in cash. That's promo code BRODES to claim your cash bonus now. Try the MyBookie money bag. This is outrageous. You can grab a potential Super Bowl frontrunner at long shot odds at plus 38,000 on something like Eagles and Chiefs. You won't find odds like that anywhere else. So you can bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. Take a look at the Flyers on Saturday night playing the Dallas Stars. You could take a look at some player props as well if you're looking for some goal scorers. Maybe Travis Konechny gets on the score sheet. I'm a big fan of what he's done to start the season. Surprised he didn't pop one in to make it 5-1 or, just to add a little assist here and there or something along those lines because he's very noticeable. He's flying around town. I love watching Travis Konechny. I really do. I love watching this team play right now. They're just a fun watch. They're enjoyable. And I value my entertainment more than losing a couple games here and there and draft status. I don't watch the season for draft status. They will be what they will be. I think it's pretty obvious what type of mold they are and who their identity is going to be under John Tortorella. To scream about this and that and the direction and draft picks, and then you're unaware of how this was going to go from the beginning. I think your expectations are flawed with Tortorella and Danny Briere and all of that. Now, interesting bringing up Danny Briere. I did catch some of the Snow the Goalie podcasts that they do, and they're now partnered with the Flyers, so they're doing some awesome content during postgame and during some in-game intermission stuff up in Press Row, and they had on, he's part of the show, Bundy, and Bundy said that I think it's an organizational philosophy with the Zamula thing and how they're handling Andre and the flip-flop, and maybe that wasn't just a coaching decision, maybe more of a collaborative effort between some of the front office members too, and I like that because it tells me that this whole, well, does John Tortorella have too much of his hands on this, and is he too much of a not a neat freak? That's the wrong way to describe it, but what's the word I'm looking for when someone wants power, wants control, he wants to be the mastermind of this all? How is the relationship going to work between Danny Briere, his thoughts, and how he views this long-term growth, and where John Tortorella wants to do things and how he wants to do things? I always said that Danny Briere wouldn't back down. I don't think he's afraid of Tortorella. He may handle it differently, meaning he might not be the same scream, yell. He's got more of a calmer, maybe not calmer, but quieter. It's different. I don't think it's calmer than Tortorella. I think he matches the intensity of Tortorella, but he does it in a different way. It is more of a laid-back style, but the fire is still there. We wanted to know how this relationship would work, and if you're telling me there's a collaborative effort between those two on how they wanted to handle some of the young defensemen to start the season, it seems like whether Torts wanted it this way or Danny wanted it this way, whatever it is, they've worked it out between the two. And I think as both of these defensemen play, you'll see one overtake the other, and then from there, it'll even itself out. And specifically, I think Zamula will be the one to win that matchup, and then Andre can get more playing time in the AHL. I think that just suits him best. He's overwhelmed. The game's moving fast for him. Not that he doesn't make good plays ever. He definitely does. There are some nice things out there. He's just one step behind. And Zamula hasn't just been better than Andre. I think he's just playing very well. I think he's playing good. He's playing good hockey. There's a difference between, well, you're doing better than player X. It's, no, you're doing well. And I was worried that this D-core would get annihilated. The heavy pressure that Ottawa brought almost made me faint because I was questioning if that's what we would see every single night. Well, I'm just going to say, if Sanheim plays this strong, and if Zamula is what he has shown, and if Rasmus could be last year's version of Rasmus, and if Cam York continues his play, your D-core is 10 times the D-core that I entered the season thinking we would watch. And where that takes us, I don't know. But with an awesome Carter Hart, you're winning more games than you think you would. And I'm okay with that. I prefer that. I want to enjoy my hockey. I want to watch a team that plays with piss and vinegar. You like that? You like that cliche? Play with some piss and vinegar. Let the kids run around out there, throw the body, be physical, get up on the forecheck, establish some offensive zone pressure. How about the passing on some offensive zone entries? You're gaining the line. You're setting guys up. Joel Fairbank, you wouldn't see that, right? I mean, you're holding teams to very limited offensive scoring chances in your own defensive end, which is awesome. Like, the shot totals aren't overwhelming, and you look at your shot totals. The other night, it's 23-2 against Vancouver. You look at some of the shot totals against Edmonton and some of these these periods. Like, you're doing things very well. You're entering the zone with the purpose. You're letting the kids play their game. If you have offensive creativity, have at it, man. You have a long leash. Go do it. Go be you. You make mistakes, who cares? And it seems like they're able to let their guard down and play more like themselves because they know that this is the rebuild. They know that it's acceptable to go through these pains, but when you do that, you're also making 5 awesome plays for that one mistake. I mentioned it against Columbus when Bobby Brink tried to force a pass to his D in the offensive zone. He was basically at the half wall. He tried to make a pass at the top of the blue line. It gets picked off by Eric Robinson, who's got a ton of speed. He gets back. He back checks pretty quickly. So, okay, he makes a mistake there, trying to make a play, maybe get it to the D where you take a shot on net, you get some net front presence. There's a ton of distraction in front of the crease. Maybe you get a deflection. Maybe the puck dies, but because the goalie can't see it, you can easily move it back door and a tap-in goal. Whatever it is, you don't know what happens when you pepper one on net, as you see with Walker. And by the way, I didn't even mention Cam Atkinson's breakaway. You like that? Do you like that breakaway goal? Dude, it was a lot of fun last night. Not so much for the Phillies, but the Flyers helped. They did. The Flyers helped. Bobby Brink helped. I believe in Bobby Brink. He moves the needle for me. I might put myself in a Bobby Brink stan club. Dude, he's everywhere. And if you remember, Danny Briere, years ago, was talking about he saw him in Bobby Brink. I remember watching Bobby Brink in college. Dude was a dog. I can't say I saw this happening, but I don't give a damn if I saw it happening or not. Bobby Brink is moving the needle. They saw Danny Briere and Bobby Brink. And when I say they, I mean Danny Briere. Well, guess what? If Danny Briere sees Danny Briere in a player, there's got to be something to it. Smart hockey mind. And he's calling the shots. He's pulling the strings. Listen, you got to get yourself to a game. All right? And there's only one ticket place to use when purchasing your tickets to get down to the Wells Fargo Center, to go to the game, to catch out the awesome atmosphere, and that is my friends over at TickPick. Listen, they got the best price guarantee. Their ticket prices will be any of the major competing marketplaces, and they're so confident they guaranteed it. If you find the same seats elsewhere at a better price than TickPick, they'll give you 110% of the price difference in form of TickPick credit. And they also have upfront pricing. So no more doing the math in your head to prepare for how much extra you plan on spending on top of the listed price on other sites. The price you see on TickPick is the price you'll pay at checkout, period. So I actually got a couple of my family members some tickets to some upcoming Flyers games, and I surprised them. Birthday's coming up, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I got a perfect idea. And if you use promo code BROADS, you get $10 off for your purchase. You have to use the link down below in the description. But if you do that, you get $10 off. Get yourself to a Flyers game, man. Enjoy this. Enjoy what they're doing right now. Enjoy Travis Sanheim. All right, look, he had a hell of an offseason. A lot of noise surrounding that contract. Probably thought he was going to get traded with Kevin Hayes. Doesn't. And he is stuck it to the Flyers. You gave up on me. You didn't think I could handle this. You didn't think I could do this role. Well, maybe I was stuck behind Ivan I'm a bum Provorov. Maybe Provorov and the way this locker room was, it stunk. You know how hockey equipment smells? And you can put any sort of new locker room in there, and you can get all this new HVAC stuff to try and get the smell out of there. Last year, there was no getting the smell out of there. It was pure piss, not the good piss, not the piss and vinegar that we want them to play with on the forecheck. No, we're talking nasty, like horrible, moldy smell. You know, that musty smell when something doesn't smell right? That's what the locker room smelled like last year. And Travis Sanheim's dealing with all that. And he's dealing with a bunch of trade rumor stuff, and he's not worth the contract. There's two things you do when that happens. You fold or you rise. And I'll put my hand up and say, I don't know. Actually, I do know. I didn't believe that he'd be the one to rise. So far, so good. Can he keep up those minutes? I think so. He's not old. I think he's actually probably at a pretty good age to hold down the fort with that many minutes a night. So we'll see where that takes him. All right, everybody, I love you to death. You know that. I appreciate you all. Got to keep the Flyers convo going as they're winning hockey games during this time. Love you guys. We'll be talking soon. See you on the next one.